NHRA's top-fueled dragster owes so much more than just a race car. A combination of a driver's daring do as he harnesses a mountain of fire, prepared for the challenge by the best minds in motorsports. To properly orchestrate those three elements is to create a ballet consisting of delicate balance, a virtuoso performance. So fine is the line between success and failure that few accept the challenge. Fewer still actually achieve their goals. Youth can play a part in the building of a reputation in this most prestigious category of the sport, but frequently that youth is guided by an older, wiser hand. Most often it is the veteran who triumphs, but usually under the watchful eyes of even more experience. The sport demands teamwork. Here there is no room for the dilettante, for those who would not proudly carry the badge of unrelenting labor. This is the quickest, fastest machine in all of racing. Its demands are total. It leaves no room for the error of human frailty. Some men spend a lifetime without being carried to victory aboard this chariot, but once claim is laid to that first championship title, there is never any turning back. Today, the 8 best teams in the sport, led by these 8 drivers, clash to see which one will catch the ever-present dream of conquest. The National Hot Rod Association presents Championship Drag Racing on ESPN Speed World. The NHRA, the world's largest motorsports sanctioning body, today showcases top fuel competition. 300-mile-an-hour runs, running the quarter-mile distance in less than 5 seconds. Championship Drag Racing from the NHRA. Each season, the NHRA Winston Championship is contested throughout the United States and Canada. And at 3 of those sites, additional special events are held. One such venue is Pomona, California, home of the Budweiser Top Fuel Classic. These are the 8 best top fuel dragster drivers in the world. They have gathered together this day on this racetrack to challenge for the Budweiser Classic for top fuel dragsters. A prize of $50,000 awaits the winner at the end of this day on this fabled Pomona Raceway facility. These racers have earned their way into this field, qualifying at 17 NHRA national events, and it boiled down to the 8 best, and they're gathered here today. Hello, everybody. I'm Dave McClelland, and this is the best of the best, the #1 qualifier, the defending champion, Kenny Bernstein. Last year, a fairly easy run in the final against Don Prudhomme. What will it take to win this year?
Well, Mac, nothing's easy in those finals, and Don did a great job. It was just our day. We had the luck with us that particular weekend. Today's a different story. 7 great cars, as you said earlier. Consistency, 3 good runs in a row is what it's going to take. That's hard to do out here sometimes.
Right now, let's go to our resident prognosticator, our predictor, and Steve Evans, and find out what you think's going to happen today.
Folks, can we talk? I mean, let's face it. Over the 7 years of the Budweiser Classic, it has been basically a Joe Amato benefit. He's been in the final round 6 times. He's won 5 of those. Last year, he and the rest of the field just gave the 50 grand to Kenny Bernstein on a silver platter, and Joe got smoked back in '86 in the final round against Big Daddy Don Garlitz. But other than that, it has been a Joe show. That's about to change. In the 8-car field today, there are 5 first-timers, and they're hungry. First, there's Ed the Ace McCullough. After a lifetime in funny cars, now in a top fuel dragster, 3-time national event winner in '92, and my personal pick to click. Then there's Pat Austin. In his sophomore year in top fuel, he won the 1991 Winston Finals event title right here on this Pomona asphalt. Corey McClanathan, the first driver into the 470s, a winner at Memphis in '92, and has always run well here on his home racetrack. Then there's Michael Brotherton. Got his first national event win in '92, and Darrell Glennscar at Seattle. He'll be tough. Then there's Doug Herbert, the U.S. Nationals runner-up, and a man who here last February ran deep in the 480s. Now add the quickest driver in the world, Eddie Hill, along with Amato and Bernstein, of course, and you truly have a classic Bud Classic field. Now, we can't assume that all of you know exactly what a top fuel dragster is and what it does. So earlier, using Kenny Bernstein's car, I tried to elaborate a bit for you. You know those road tests in the car magazines always have that little box with all of the pertinent information? Well, if you road tested Kenny Bernstein's Top Fuel dragster, the box might go something like this. Make 1992 Al Swindle. Power plant, 500 cubic inch supercharged Keith Black aluminum racing engine. Wheelbase, 300 inches. Curb weight with driver, 1,950 pounds. Fuel mileage, 14 gallons per quarter mile. Recommended fuel, nitromethane, $25 per gallon. Performance, 0 to 60 in the bat of an eye. 0 to 100 in under 1 second. 0 to 300 miles an hour in 4.79 seconds. Stopping distance, another quarter of a mile with parachute-assisted rear disc brakes. Cost as tested, $120,000, not including the mandatory 18-wheeler and 6-man crew. Estimated annual operating expense. Well, it's like the old yacht broker once said, if you gotta ask, you probably can't afford it.
Steve, where do you sign up for a test drive? Here at the fabled Pomona Raceway at the Fairplex, this is how our 8 teams got here. The number 1 qualifier would earn 175 points. That would work its way down to number 16, who would get 85 points. The results of those 17 qualifying events finds Corey Mack, the number 4 qualifier. He'll get his lane choice in round 1 against Michael Brotherton. The quicker qualified car in the next pair, Joe Amato, will pick his lane against Ed McCulloch. Eddie Hill qualified in the number 2 spot. He has lane choice over the number 7 qualifier, Pat Austin. And the man that amassed the most qualifying points, Kenny Bernstein, the defending champion, will select his lane over the number 8 qualifier, Doug Herbert. The Budweiser Top Fuel Classic is being brought to you by Goodyear, number 1 in tires. The 8 best Top Fuel dragsters in the world ready to do battle in Pomona, California. First round of competition coming up next. We're in Pomona, California. That is Joe Amato, the 5-time winner of this special event. He is getting ready to meet Ed McCulloch in the first round of competition. Meantime, Eddie Hill preparing himself for the challenge of the youngster, Pat Austin. This in the first round of the Budweiser Top Fuel Classic. Our first pair of racers out on the track in the far lane is Corey McLenithan. This youngster earned his first NHRA national event title earlier this season. That came at Memphis, Tennessee, and the Mid-South Nationals. His competition also won his first Top Fuel title this season. That came at Seattle, Washington, for this man, Michael Brotherton, the driver of Darrell Gwynn's Coors Light Silver Bullet, crew chief by Ken Veeney. His competition is Corey McLenithan. The crew chief for Corey Mack is a youngster, Jimmy Brock. Brock, making a final check of the engine in Corey Mack's Top Fuel car, is rapidly gaining the recognition of his peers. Why? Because he was the man that wrenched Corey Mack to the first driver in the 470 range in Top Fuel. Brock, a second-generation racer. His dad, Tom Brock, a former funny car pilot. That's Jerry Gwynn, Darrell's dad. He is the team manager on the race car that is owned by Darrell and driven by Michael Brotherton. Both drivers now concentrating on the start, creeping into those staging beams at the starting line. When both lights lit at the top of the tree, starter Buster Counts throws the switch. And it is Corey Mack, 4.86 seconds, his speed over 289 miles an hour. He now has reached the final 4 plateau, headed toward what he hopes will be a $50,000 payday. You may have noticed some construction work in the background here at the Fairplex. This is the framework for the new VIP operations tower that will be in operation come Winter Nationals time. If you're anywhere in the vicinity of Pomona, California, the first weekend in February, be here, because this is what the new Pomona will look like. This is what the racetrack looks like to the driver. Our camera mounted high on the wing on Joe Amato's Team Valvoline car. Here is Larry Minor, the owner of the McDonald's dragster, driven by Ed McCulloch, currently the hottest car on the Top Fuel circuit today, winner of 3 of the last 4 NHRA national events. McCulloch and Amato in round 1 of the Budweiser Top Fuel Classic. As the burnouts continue, our drivers getting ready for this competition. Let's go down to the far end of the racetrack, where Steve Evans has had a chance to catch up with Corey Mack.
One step closer to 50 grand with a 486-289.
Yeah, that's great. You know, you can't take those guys for granted. Daryl and those guys and Ken Vinny, they're super, and Michael's a heck of a driver, but you know, I want everything this weekend. I need the money to pay some bills, so let's pay some bills.
Right. And paying the bills, important indeed. As Steve pointed out in his definition piece, these are expensive race cars to operate. As Steve also noted, this has been the Joe Amato benefit. And for Amato, it has been quite a season. He has had 3 national event wins with the new crew chief towards the end of the season, Jim Brissett. Ed McCulloch, also with 3 national event titles, uses Lee Beard as the head wrench on his Golden Arches special. Both drivers are set. Joe Amato by more than a car length wins it. A 4:88 is winning time at over 297 miles an hour. Ed McCulloch trailing at a 4:98 at 269. Kenny Bernstein, the defending champion, getting ready. His first round race coming up in just a moment in the Budweiser Top Fuel Classic. Back in Pomona, California, the Budweiser Top Fuel Classic. We're still in round number 1 of competition, and this is Doug Herbert putting on his fire safety equipment. He's getting ready to meet Kenny Bernstein, the number 1 qualifier. This is Eddie Hill at the wheel of the Pennzoil Special. It's a battle of the oil companies in round number 1. The Castrol machine, driven by Pat Austin, with a less than impressive burnout. He's the challenger to Eddie Hill. Hey, Steve, what happened to your pick to win?
Well, what do I know? McCullough's out of here. And Joe Amato, you're on your way to the Final Four with a 4:88.
Well, Steve, you know, we've run a 5:10 the other day, dropped the cylinder. My guys know what to do, and they put the tune-up in. But the bad thing, the sun comes out, you know, and the Joe Amato benefit race, we're trying to keep the tradition going.
Funny, that's what I called it earlier. Good luck.
Steve, there's some folks that are trying to break that tradition. One of them is the driver of this car, wrenched by the guy in the background. That's Fuzzy Carter, the crew chief for Eddie Hill. The competition for Hill is Pat Austin. The crew chief on his Top Fuel dragster is his dad, Walt Austin. Eddie Hill has the distinction of holding the quickest elapsed time in history. It was set in a warm-up run for this Budweiser Top Fuel Classic, 4.77 seconds. That is Hill's hallmark of performance, going out and setting quick ETs. But he has a great deal of difficulty converting that into wins. A red light start for Pat Austin, and problems for Eddie Hill. Did he get a break? I should say so. As the problem set in and coasting across at 121 miles an hour, he is already into the Final Four as that driver, Pat Austin, left a red light at the starting line. The red light, an indicator of disqualification because he left the starting line before the green light came on. As you can see, the car in the near lane jumped the start. That turned on the red light and disqualified Austin. He instantly went up in smoke as well. And then the problem set in for Eddie Hill. The motor just shutting off, a lot of raw fuel pouring out of the exhaust pipe. Lots of problems. Steve?
I wouldn't be surprised if Eddie Hill himself doesn't know why this car shut off, and boy, it did.
Now, that was something broke in the drivetrain and the engine zinged up is what I remember, but I don't know what it was. It acted like the drive shaft broke, but the drive shaft's still in there. Must have broken input shaft would be my first guess.
What a break.
Oh, really, literally, 2 of them. I didn't like the first one, but I liked the second one.
Did it over-rev enough to hurt it?
I don't know. That was an unusual deal. Revving up free with no load, it probably did.
We'll follow them in the pits.
And Steve, that means there's lots of work for Fuzzy Carter and crew to get Eddie Hill ready for the Final Four. Here is Kenny Bernstein, the Budweiser King, number 1 qualifier, against the Hugger Sportswear car of Doug Herbert, the number 8 car. This huge crowd certainly enjoying this great day in Pomona and the Budweiser Top Fuel Classic. Jim Brissett, the crew chief on Doug Herbert's car, also serves as the chief wrench on Joe Amato's Top Fuel dragster. That may be just a bit unusual, but it was necessitated by the departure of Tim Richards from Amato's crew right after the U.S. Nationals. Herbert, the number 8 qualifier, has yet to win his first national event title. While his opposition, Kenny Bernstein, is certainly used to the winner's circle. 4 Top Fuel titles here in '92 under the direction of that man Dale Armstrong, his crew chief. Kenny has assembled quite a team. Not only does he have Armstrong heading the team, he also has the services of Wes Cerny, and that combination, along with the rest of the crew, wrenched Kenny to the first ever 300-mile-an-hour run this season. Doug Herbert goes up in smoke. Bernstein across the finish line. Look at that, 486. Oh, so close to the magic 300-mile-an-hour mark. 299 miles an hour plus for Kenny Bernstein as he goes into the semifinals, where he will race the newcomer Corey McLenithan. Bernstein holding the lane choice by virtue of the quicker ET. The other side of the ladder finds Eddie Hill, who had those problems in round number 1, giving away the lane choice to Joe Amato. We're in Corey McLenithan's pit area, where work is underway preparing his car for the semifinal round race with Bernstein, the man that is currently with Steve Evans, a great announcer, but a lousy handicapper.
Well, I never said I was Nick the Greek. I said the first-timers would do well, and here in round 1, 3 of them are gone. And Kenny Bernstein, you're around with a 486 and a huge speed. Well,
I appreciate it. It was nice and smooth in there. Hopefully, the track will stay this way and we won't smoke the tires here in the second round. Good race with Herbert. He got me on the starting line a little bit, a little behind him.
Close to 300.
Was it that close?
299.
Well, that was good. I wish you'd run 300 for these guys to get them all happy out here. Appreciate it.
Well, Kenny Bernstein is having fun here at Pomona, and you can have fun all year long. 48 issues of National Dragster can be yours if you join NHRA. In addition, you get a jacket patch, a pin, a decal, and a rule book. Only $48 a year. And if you order by calling the number on your screen, you can receive a free copy of the legendary Diamond P Sports video, Drag Racing 91. This is Joe Amato's crew. They are hard at work preparing his race car to face Eddie Hill in the semifinals of the Budweiser Top Fuel Classic. Back in Pomona, California, already over 299 miles an hour. The Budweiser King, Kenny Bernstein, coming into the staging lane. He'll be meeting Corey McLenithan in the semifinal round. While on the starting line, this man, Fuzzy Carter, hopes that all the work that he and the crew have performed on the Pennzoil Special will solve the problems that Eddie Hill suffered in round number 1. His competition, Joe Amato in the Team Valvoline car, and our onboard camera reveals what these men face as the sun sets in the west. A lot of glare coming up off the racing surface. Eddie Hill and Joe Amato, the winner, into the final round with a shot at $50,000 cash. Tremendous race, and Amato pulls it out by half a car length. Elapsed time, 486 at over 296 miles an hour. Eddie Hill, oh so close, at 489, 285. Let's look again in replay. Amato on the far side of the racetrack. Hill on the near lane. Nearly identical reaction times at the start. Only 0.02 of a second advantage went to Amato. He drifted out of the groove just a little bit. Got out closer to the guardrail than he wanted, but he was able to pull it out. There's the margin of victory at the finish line, and there is the glare as we're riding on board in real time. This is the speed attained, 296 miles an hour. Joe Amato goes into the finals yet again of the Budweiser Top Fuel Classic, and he's got a smile on his face. The question is, can he do it again and make it 6 out of 8? At the starting line, Corey McLenithan, the sophomore sensation in Top Fuel racing, preparing himself as Jimmy Brock has prepared the race car to challenge the Dale Armstrong prepared steed driven by Kenny Bernstein. While several other drivers have come close, this is the only team that has broken through that magic 300-mile-an-hour barrier. And here in 1992, Kenny Bernstein has done it 3 times. And he appears on the verge of doing it again here in Pomona. And Bernstein red light. He's out of competition. Corey Mack smokes the tires, but it does not matter. He is in the finals against Joe Amato as Kenny Bernstein wastes a brilliant 487 at 294 miles an hour. McLenathan coasting across the finish line at 88 miles an hour, but with the all-important win. Bernstein, by just 0.02 of a second, leaves the starting line too soon. That leaves the red light glowing, and Corey Mack is your automatic winner. What an incredible turn of events in this semifinal round. Bernstein living by the sword, dying by the sword. That puts Corey Mack into the final round to race Joe Amato, and Amato obviously holding the lane choice. Steve?
Kenny, you shaved the light a little too close. Yeah, red lighted by 2,000. I was afraid you didn't know that.
I didn't know it. I didn't know it. I sure didn't.
A bad break, Corey Mack, the beneficiary.
I didn't know it.
Yeah, I am so ready for this guy. I mean, I've never beat Kenny. I mean, he is the best out here. I can only hope to be as good as he can in the future. But I know it's hard for him. He didn't know he red lit, but it's in our favor, and I'll take it.
Right. It'll be Corey and Amato.
Just an indication of the intense concentration of the drivers. Kenny not even seeing the red light. But Joe Amato can certainly see the tens of thousands of fans jammed here into Pomona, waiting for the finals of the Budweiser Top Fuel Classic. It is late in the afternoon at Pomona, California, and we are ready for the finals of the Budweiser Top Fuel Classic. Just moments ago in Corey McLenathan's pit area, it looked like organized confusion, but in reality, it was precision teamwork as the team installed a new engine between the frame rails. Corey and his crew chief, Jimmy Prock, making the decision to pull out all the stops in preparation for the finals against Amato. The work done in the pit, now they're on the starting line. The burnouts have been completed, and Corey McLenathan facing one of the great challenges, trying to stop the dominance of Joe Amato and his Team Valvoline car in this special event. There is $50,000 riding on this single run. The runner-up picks up $10,000 in cash, but the big bucks go to the champion. The two drivers now concentrating on getting off the starting line as quick as possible without leaving the red light. We've already seen two red lights take premier drivers out of competition. Amato with a big lead, and he's done it again. Joe Amato has won it 4.86 seconds at over 292 miles an hour. Three great 4-second elapsed times for Joe Amato, has won his 6th Budweiser Top Fuel Classic and a payday of $50,000. The advantage off the starting line went to Corey McLenathan by some 0.04 of a second. But Amato pulled around him by the middle of the racetrack, and at the finish line was driving away with a speed of over 292 miles an hour, a multiple car length victory.
I admit it, I was wrong. Joe Amato has won his 6th Bud Classic, another 50.
Like I told the man Lee Shive from the Orange County paper, 50 large they call this, but when I woke up this morning, I never thought I'd be here. My team just did a good job. The car, what do we run the final?
You broke their backs with another 480.
It's $50,000 plus a little bonus from Valvoline wouldn't hurt. I'm sure they're going to be real happy with me and my team and Doug Herbert and Jim Brissett. I mean, they just did such a good job on this car, giving us the right, correct thing, the combination, the tune-up, and it's one of them deals.
Well, turn around. Joe Amato is the champion.
And Steve, since 1985, only 2 names break the string of Amatos. It looks like the typewriter was stuck on Joe Amato. Kenny Bernstein a year ago and Don Garlis way back in 1986. The only 2 drivers to stop Joe Amato's quest for a perfect record. For Steve Evans, I'm Dave McClellan saying so long from Pomona, California. The 1993 Top Fuel Classic has been brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is One Top Motor Oil. Coverage of the Budweiser Top Fuel Classic has been a presentation of Diamond B Sports in association with ESPN.